Do we have agenda changes, Darrell? No?
Motion
Okay.
to reconvene.
Open forums, are there community members that would like to address the board? We ask that you keep it brief. Yes, that's Hay. How you doing?
Oh, good.
How's the garden?
Wonderful.
Great.
And, first of all, I'm gonna make sure I don't,
Oh, good man.
rest.
Is that for your
And
teeth
what it is
brushing?
Huh?
Is that for
This,
your teeth brushing?
the illustration on the bottom is PRI. And, the illustration on the top is, the school thing. And, what it is, PRI, PRI is crawling with scientists and artists and stuff like that. So they made, a roof that looks like an uplifted sedimentary rock, because you're entering into, the fossils and everything like that. And then, if you notice the difference, for one thing, the beam is so bent on the one at the playground that I went out and functioned with Mike Holcomb. The kids stood on the beam, so they got their weight in 3 digits, and they had a digital caliper, so they measured the deflection of the beam and plotted it, X, Y. So we functioned. And my intention is this year to function with him and to try to get all the vocabulary of a force diagram. Because in the construction up there, in AutoCAD, you can put something in that looks like a knee brace. That's not actually a knee brace, it's not functional or anything like that. And the other thing is that after the sod came in, I took the pre-K out to the playground, or to the garden and back to the middle school, and then we were 10 feet away from where they're installing sod, and all of a sudden these vicious little bitty ants got all over the kids. So I intend to remove that material the way you would treat Ebola and stuff like that, like going up towards the epicenter, put it in containers, and then probably use my maple syrup set up to pasteurize and stuff. And let's see, what else have I got? A long time ago, I presented a little, I brought in a box of kale last time I was here. And you said, well, how hard can it be to get it into the cafeteria? Well, actually, it turns out it's very difficult. If you consider derivative, the way you consider derivative on Wall Street, then you lose money and everything like that. But if you consider derivative as a product, like before all the construction, we planted potatoes. So we have undifferentiated juvenile tissue that we're putting in, and then we've got the youth, and they're developing too, and everything like that. And then we got potatoes, because the potatoes withstood all the construction. And so we're digging them up. And
That's exciting.
let's see,
you
what
got in
else?
your hand there? Is that a tomato?
Pardon?
What is that?
Kale.
Kale.
But I didn't bring in the whole box. And I was gonna take a lot of time talking about the wellness policy, but your new food person is right on, because when I talked to her today, I said, how about salad dressing? She said, no, let them taste the stuff raw, and all like that. So I'm really confident that she will do a lot in making all those steps. And myself, I'm gonna go to Juniper Manor, because at that institution, they already subscribe to brain function related to nutrition, related to meaningful activity.
Just like
And,
school.
Lovely.
Oh, but the people at the people at PRI also, in the detail there, they probably were around the stream table a lot, so they understood like water really coming down,
right.
and all like that. So they put the roofing at an angle, so that it wouldn't drip onto the people coming in and all like that. So anyway, so the PRI guys did it right to have a irregular roof going the right way.
Great. And we didn't.
Well,
We
see
did.
what it is, the last time I brought an engineer up there, the engineer just said, fix it. And then after that, she said, fix it. And then after that, she said, fix it. And all like that. So, but there's so many other things too, like the way the post contact, anyways, it's replete with things that would add to whatever. So,
Thanks very much.
Oh,
Appreciate you coming out.
Yep.
Anyone else? How you doing, Anthony? Good? Good? Okay. Let's see, we've got correspondence. Anyone get a chance to see the email from Cynthia Menino? And I guess we'll say kudos to our capital project team, Peter and the members of the board involved with that. And we will transition right to our committee reports here. So we have them listed. Tina was kind enough to list the members of the committee, and when the meetings are. Is that, and that's all set, so this is all happening. Is, yeah, everybody that's got it is on it. Peter, I guess I can save it for board forum. Are there any other questions about committee work? Is your name on there right? Are you allotted properly, that sort of stuff? Are we good there?
I just have one question. Would it be all right to occasionally come to sit on the, whatever it is, the lunch food services committee?
I don't see any problem with that. I think we just gotta be careful that we don't have three,
Well, I won't say anything.
well, as long as there's a community member there.
Well, there's only Jane Gallagher on there.
Eve Workman. Jane, no, we're good. We're good. Yeah, we just gotta watch out that it's not you. As a board meeting, it certainly doesn't make any particular decisions. Okay?
Yeah.
Any questions on any of this stuff? All right, board forum. We have this motion for the retreat, but before we do that, we have our little shindig Friday night, right?
Yes.
For the opening of the homecoming of the facility. And since you spoke up here, I wonder if you wouldn't mind I will be there.
Okay.
But since you were really the representative of this board to the project, I wonder if you wouldn't be in charge of sort of being the face of the board for that night. I'm gonna be there, but I'd rather, you were the one really from the board perspective that sort of shepherded this thing through, so I think it's only right that you represent us. You okay with that?
Yeah.
Plus, who the hell wants to listen to my voice?
Not tonight.
Not tonight, sorry about that.
There's actually gonna be a time built into the schedule for you, it's scheduled for Michael and Frank, or Peter.
I'll stand next
But
to
if,
him.
but if my hope is that the whole board, as well as administrators that are available to be there that evening, could come out to be introduced to the
Will
community.
you send us, was there a,
I'll be sure to email Tina the schedule for the evening, and she can highlight.
like, I don't
that.
even, I mean, I'm gonna, it's
Right
what?
on- It's right on our homepage.
Yeah, I don't go to the homepage, but now that I know, I might.
Right there, top.
Yeah,
Cause we have a modified soccer game, I'll be here
Yep.
anyway, from 4:30 anyway, so.
yep.
Oh, okay.
And then the
So there's a-
varsity boys are playing at,
There's a tailgate party beginning at 4. The events start off at 4 o'clock with a tailgate party sponsored by student council. Then there's a volleyball game in the gym on the new floor at 5 o'clock. Girls varsity soccer kicks off at 5 o'clock out on the field with the choir singing the national anthem. Then there's events scheduled at halftime of each of the games, and between the games there's the senior student recognitions, as well as an opportunity for you guys to speak between the two games.
between the two games is
Yeah.
when the board should
Yep.
be there, if we can.
Yeah.
Who,
But
everybody,
the
who's,
varsity girls soccer team has shown a lot of improvement since the beginning of the season. They're gonna have a great game, so when that modified soccer game's over, you come right on over and watch the girls
yeah,
continue.
so who's coming? Everybody coming? Friday night, Ken?
I unfortunately have.
Questionable, Glenn, you coming?
Yeah.
John?
I'll attempt.
Okay, you? Okay, good. So as long as you're there, Peter,
I'll be there.
certainly if we're gonna make any comments, I'll defer to you to thank the people, cause
Yeah,
you know
sure.
better than me, in many ways.
I'll be happy to.
Great, thanks for doing that. Other board forum items before we take up this motion?
Could I just-
A report from you?
Do you have something?
I do have.
Let's hear
two
it.
things. Did you wanna say something first,
Go ahead,
John?
go ahead.
No, okay. The last few weeks have been really pretty hectic in terms of technology in this area. I helped open 2 facilities in Syracuse 2 weeks ago. The first is run by, straight here. It's a 3-way partnership between WCNY, Onondaga Community College, and the BOCES. They are taking 22 students from across the Syracuse area this year as juniors. We'll take another 22 as juniors next year, giving them a total of 44. They spend 2 days with WCNY in their facilities, their new facilities in Syracuse. They will be writing all of their own material, producing their own shows, not their own, shows that WCNY would normally be doing. They'll be literally enlisted. They'll be doing anything anyone employed does there.
In the BOCES,
No, at WCNY.
for the BOCES students.
Yeah, I guess they're technically BOCES students, yes. Then 3 days a week, they will be getting classes at Onondaga Community College, including writing, and whatever other credits, you know, they would normally have to make for graduation, science, math, et cetera. Those will be taken at the college rather than at school. They come out of this with 21 college credits and a certificate in media marketing and communications. A pretty sweet deal for a senior graduating from college. Obviously, very limited in scope in terms of field. I mean, only those interested in media services, but gosh, what a wonderful opportunity for kids. The second is that they opened an Innovation Tech High School. I think it's certainly Central New York's first tech school. There are only around 130 of these in the nation. This is, as I said, our first.
Is it P-Tech? Is it that
No,
IBM
it's not
P-Tech thing?
P-Tech. This is entirely independent
Okay.
of P-Tech. And again, it's run through, it was Jody Manning and Laurie Cook at OCM BOCES who started this. What they've done is taken over one of the wings in the Liverpool BOCES. It's a gorgeous facility, probably 3 rooms, twice as wide as this one, and I would say at least 3 to 4 times as long. The second, the middle one has a full media services desk with, you know, a giant computer, stools, a big table that they can shove information back and forth. It looks like a Starbucks cafe. It has, you know, orange and green seats and wonderful, wonderful setup. The other two, one is tech, the other is set up for round the table conversations and such. The day I was there, I literally ran into one of the classes. What they're doing is teaching in modules, and they do 2 subjects in one module. So they were doing math and PE. They were coming back from the baseball field. They had been there just looking and calculating parabolas of balls as you throw them and as you hit them, and, you know, distances between bases, how they angle, it's a fascinating school. I think those that are having the most trouble with it are the teachers. They are not teachers, they are facilitators, and they're finding that quite a switch in role, but really, it was a wonderful experience. The kids are just great.
Great.
And finally, as 2 other things on the NYSBA front, as you probably know, we have a new Area 4 director, someone to replace me, Sandra Rufo from Binghamton. Oh, I'm thrilled. She's a wonderful woman. I'm sure she'll eventually meet us all, and she's just delightful. I couldn't be happier.
Good.
And the other thing is that, as those of you who pay attention to NYSBA's news, we've hit a bit of a kerfuffle with this Common Core pulse poll we did 2 weeks ago.
It didn't sound so good.
What?
Well, what happened was it was hijacked. One of the downstate board members who had a number of lists of people who were anti-Common Core got a hold of it. And it literally went viral. So we had 2,500 responses instead of the normal 220, which alerted us to the fact that something was a little off.
And so someone cared about this?
Someone really cared a lot about this.
Okay.
They do not approve of Common Core down there, so we'll be getting a little backlash. And you all should be thankful that you're not going to convention and not participating in the voting there, because it's gonna be hijacked by this group.
Excellent, excellent. Maybe they'll bring NYSBA down with them, Douglas. Maybe they'll bring the whole thing to the ground. Okay, anything else?
Just comment, I have, for any of you interested in, the Be the Change for Kids Awards were given out last week in Albany. And once again, we had a school from this area, Shenango Forks, who have a full wing in their high school, project-based learning, sort of mentored opportunities for their high schoolers. So I'm going down there next week to visit that.
Excellent.
Went up there.
Great. Okay, nothing from BOCES board.
Unfortunately, I was at this when the BOCES board met, so I
Okay.
missed that meeting.
Now,
I
we
will
are
report
taking,
on that next week.
we
the
are
next
taking,
meeting.
we are taking something up regarding voting later on in the amendments and rebuttals.
Yes.
We're gonna need to,
Okay,
deal with that with you, with the NISBA stuff, because I think you're the only one, going to.
lucky me,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay, John, you had something?
Over the weekend, Mike and I were invited with several other area school board members and superintendents to have a sit down with Barbara Lipton, and I believe her name was Kathy Noble.
No.
Nolan,
Kathy Nolan,
Nolan,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
who is an assembly woman
Yes.
from Queens, but she's due to her lengthy tenure on in the legislatures, she is now the chairman of the education committee.
Has been for some time, actually.
And
Yeah.
I enjoyed the conversation, I didn't care so much for what she had to converse about.
Okay.
But she asked me what some of our concerns were and what she would like to hear and could work on, and I went from a gap elimination to going to BOCES for all of our services, which she took a little liking to. Food in the cafeteria, and just a whole bunch of little things. And, but she took particular interest in the fact that of all the copying that we do, that we, because of the board, we had sent an awful lot of our copying to BOCES. And it costs money, it costs time. And I happened, a few days prior, I ran into Gayla Miller next door, and she was complaining about spending 4 hours in front of a copier, copying segments of the Engage New York, and you might know better, but, and I said, 4 hours in front of a copier, is that part of your contract? Well, that's all it took to start that conversation. And,
Phrase it, Jen.
well,
Okay.
it's,
So you
So
went to
anyway.
lunch with the head of the education committee for New York State, and
But-
you guys talked about how much people spend time copying things?
well, but the
She was
point-
upset about how much time people spend copying things?
As
Can we
far
get her out of
as-
that position?
No, wait a minute, but as far as the Common Core is, and I made the statement, there are no textbooks anymore. If you want anything, you gotta go to Engage New York, or there's the other site, you gotta download it, you gotta print it, you gotta have it sent out, and that costs money. Now, the backside of that is they give us an allowance to buy textbooks. But if we're not buying textbooks because of all this,
We're not
then
using
give us that money for the copier, sort of thing, so we're
Yeah,
not
that
out
makes
of it.
sense.
And she understood all that, and she understood that by us sending it to BOCES, having to wait for the turnover, when if they, instead of giving us, and we do that to get aid on, screw the aid, give it to us straight, and we can do it ourselves, and cut the time. But as
Please
far-
tell me you spoke to this woman about universal pre-K.
We did.
Thank you, something
Well, I'm
substantive.
getting there. That's the one
Please
thing,
tell me you did
that's
not
the one
waste this
thing that she
lunch
bit
talking
on.
about copies.
That's the one thing that she bit into. Yeah, we spent $300,000 on
I
copies.
was just gonna say, we could
So
probably
it's a
do
lot of
pre-K for the copy money,
But
let's.
pre-K, we talked about that from her point of view, this thing that's coming up November 4th on election day may or may not benefit us. She wasn't overly promising on that.
What's
Anymore,
coming up?
The
There's a
smart
technology,
schools
smart
bond.
schools bond.
The $2 billion bond.
Again, yeah.
That could possibly, intended for technology, but could possibly used for infrastructure for UPK.
Yes.
In classrooms.
Yes.
That doesn't help us since we have the classrooms.
We already have the technology unless we say, okay, we want every child
We need
in
the
school.
bodies. We need money for the bodies.
We need the teachers.
Yeah, we
We
need
need
the
the
teachers, we need
teachers.
the bodies.
Personnel.
All right, what else you got?
The gap elimination adjustment that you gave, she pretty much said that she wouldn't fight for it, doesn't care much to hear about it. There was one gentleman who was in her face, called her a liar, a thief, and everything else, and she took it well, surprisingly, but she pretty much
At this
said-
lunch?
Yes, it was just a little sit down, an hour and a half, it was a very informal.
So she did not support
No,
eliminating the gap elimination
she said
adjustment?
the state did not have money, the judge ruled in favor of the schools to get their money. So what, they didn't have it during the time and they're not gonna get it now. But her valid point is I'm from Queens, we have students who go to school in trailers.
Yeah.
There's no fire exits, there's little windows up on top. Before I'm worried about giving you your $8 million or whatever the figure is, I wanna fix those schools. Very valid point.
No question about it.
But at the conclusion, I had to have a moment with her, and she invited me to Albany, actually invited me to Queens, and
Beautiful, go to Queens, John, you'll straighten them all out down there.
I've been, I was there as part of Head Start, tour.
Other board forum items before we move to this motion.
Well, let me just, report about our, facilities meeting,
Great.
3 weeks ago. I think Joe and Michael might have to help me on this, cause that was 3 weeks, this lifetime ago. But we talked about, the end of this project, hoping to pave the high school loop, which we will be doing.
This next, Sunday, Monday, I think.
We had money left in the site work
Yes.
to do that, so that'll happen. The concession stand out here is ready to be, it has all the plumbing and wiring and pad, and it's ready. The sports boosters are trying to raise money to,
What's the number?
60,000, 50,000, in that range,
How much do they
depending
have?
on how much volunteer help we get, you know,
Okay.
if we have several.
But there's a design for it somewhere? There's a design for it somewhere? It's been approved?
Joe's part of that part.
Yeah.
The design of it's been approved, we're good there?
We haven't gotten, well, we have the footprint of the building is what it is now, cause
Right.
it's built.
Yeah.
We're
And the
wishing
pipes
it
are
was
where
bigger
pipes
now.
are.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
anyway, it
So
is.
that sort of
Yeah.
determines the design.
Yep, and Beardsley was kind enough to put together some renderings for us, just because I didn't have time to do it. I asked them, and they did do that for us. So I sent it to a couple of the to Jason and to Melinda, the boosters
Right,
president,
good, good.
and so I haven't heard any feedback.
Good.
So I'm just waiting.
Yeah, we've got a few good fundraising things that'll go towards that. The staff slam always generates a little bit of cash, so we should be able to get there quickly. Plus, I think when everybody starts to see it, that they're gonna wanna get it done pretty quick.
I think so, hope so.
What else we got there?
What else? We're looking to add some cameras, is
Yep.
that correct?
Mhm.
And
Yep.
Security.
it's all part of our security
Really good.
upgrade.
Yeah.
Let's see, the pond is, we have some complaints about our pond, and we're passing those complaints on to our biology teachers, hoping
Pond
that they will.
redux.
What are the
Maybe we
complaints
can-
about ponds?
We
Every
actually
4
had a meeting
years.
with some local residents, they're concerned that it just looked so green and full of algae or whatever. And we met, actually, one of our own students contributed a lot to the conversation. She'd just done water sampling that day and was able to tell us it's drinkable. No one took her up on it, but she did pass around, her sample. And at the end of the meeting, we realized that really
Joe.
things are pretty much out of our
Joe,
control.
They
just
are
get,
totally. It's
they
just
sell
a-
socks of barley straw. You get it from Banfield Baker for $20.
Mhm.
Just throw them in there and the algae will go
Scare the
away.
algae.
And then if they don't see the algae and the water quality's clear, it's done. We have to do this on golf courses constantly. Nobody wants more than golfers.
One of our pastors.
Right, Glenn?
did this swim.
Right. Nobody
I
wants
can
as much as
agree on
golfers.
my water ball.
That's right. That's right. It adds insult to injury. You can't reach it.
Well, that suggestion was not made, so we'll have to add that one to
Yeah.
our
Just,
list.
just throw some barley straw in there and it's done.
They'll have to barley straw the other ponds as they go down.
I mean,
Yeah.
it usually
Well,
clears
that's
it
the
up.
concern, the concern
Yeah.
is that it's basically washing downstream.
It is.
Yeah.
And
But it was a good
contaminating
conversation.
We get this every 3 or 4
So it's
years.
bloomed because we've done a lot of construction and things run off in there, no matter how
Yep.
well you protect.
Yep. It
So-
ended, it ended well.
What else you got?
Gym floor and the soccer field, football field are ready?
Yeah.
Ready to go?
Yeah,
Have you
good.
tested them out? Have we tested them out yet?
I had to receive, there was a ball kicked over the fence from the soccer game, I had to go out and walk across the track.
Oh,
I
officially
was glad to
taken off.
volunteer to walk across the track.
Were you accompanied by armed guards as you
Oh,
took the ball
it
off?
feels real nice under the feet, I'll tell you, it's
Yeah.
beautiful out there.
I guess the fence around the field is gonna be coming down.
Yep, yeah, I'll be gone before our event's on.
The security fence, the red
Right.
fence.
The ugly orange fence is
The
going
orange
down.
Construction fence.
Thursday.
The orange
Yeah.
fence, yeah.
And
Now,
that
it'll stay up-
officially is the turnkey, right? Is that?
Yeah, but it'll stay up around the modified fields because of the turf issues that we have. They want that field to
Over here, yeah.
remain inactive.
Oh, you mean up here, right?
Yeah.
Softball and
Right, right,
modified.
right, where they put the dead sod down.
Yeah.
Good move.
The tech windows are coming or are here.
I think they're all
They're in.
installed now,
In,
right, Josh?
okay, there you go. So you've been 3 weeks.
Yep, and we get the blinds are being installed tonight and we should be good to
Beautiful.
go.
Time for-
And the last thing is that we're sort of retooling for our building, as a committee for our building commission condition survey.
Yep.
Starting over.
Yep.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Hmm.
Good, but let me just say, before we move another moment, so as a board, when he was coming on, we said this was an important part about the capital project. He actually said, I don't know if we should do it. We said, no, you should do it, you will do it. And then he did the right thing, he got somebody really good to do it for him, Mike DePerna. Who was the first person we have to thank, right? So, and, the committee, I remember some of the early meetings of drafting the referendum that the community passed expeditiously, that got us the favorable aid rate. I don't wanna go back through all the little details of this, but
And also plugged up our roofs.
Yep.
plugged up our
That
roofs in
first
the
summer.
meantime, right? We actually did it on the front end.
Yep.
But now, when I came on the board, we were in phase 3 or 4 or 5 of the previous capital project, cause we had the gang who couldn't shoot straight, making ramps and things around here. So, we're about to close this project. It feels like we just opened it.
Yeah, I know.
And now it's actually gonna get closed out. So I think everybody deserves a, well, for me anyway, to you all for doing a great job on this thing. And now you getting handed, don't mess it up is the word for you.
No pressure, Joe.
No pressure at all.
No issues.
Okay, John,
Most of the board was here last week, when we had a preliminary audit review from Bonadeo. And I would like to say that the 10 years I've been on the audit committee in one part or another, it was a spectacular audit. And typically, the extracurricular funds from the classrooms, that was kind of out there, but that was the only major thing. It was the cleanest and most promising audit that I've been involved in.
That was good.
And I think we have it fairly clearly stated that the extracurricular problems will not be a problem from now on.
It's always,
Yeah.
so any final facility things, Peter?
No.
John, we're good?
yes.
More board forum items, we just gonna do this motion. Hopefully it's on everyone's calendar. The Board of Education retreat for October 21st. I need a motion
So moved.
and a second. Okay, discussion. This is what I like to call, I think what the board will be doing, I'm hoping, is, basic blocking and tackling. I think we have, I said this to John on the way over here, I think the board really seems to be very interested in getting in the meat on these. We can talk all we want about STEM, we have to have good math. We have to have good science, we have to have good technology, those kinds of things, English arts as well. So, this will be our first, data retreat around these issues.
Okay, good.
Other questions and comments about this? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? We're done. Michael?
This Friday is our second superintendent's conference day. The first superintendent's conference day is usually just getting together and getting started, but this is the first one where we'll really focus in on staff development and aligning our learning to improve results across our district. Sarah Backus, Director of Curriculum Instruction and Special Education, leads this effort with the principals. So we're actually gonna go in reverse order here because Jeannie could not be here tonight. And Sarah knows the big picture and also will be able to speak to the elementary school. And then I'll ask Josh and then John finish it off. So I'll turn it over to Sarah because she coordinates this work.
So we have a lot of things planned on the agenda. I'd love to share the agenda with you to see if any of you could attend any of these activities during the day. I know, Douglas, you love to come, and as many of you that can attend it, I think it's wonderful.
What
just to
day is this,
see-
Sarah?
Right.
It's this Friday, and so you can see I'll kind of go through the elementary school, and the middle school. I'll only highlight the elementary piece. We'll be doing leveled literacy intervention training, which is our core reading program for our RTI supports for K-6. So that training will take place. It'll be a 4-day series of training that happens for our teachers. So that will start on this day. The elementary school is going to be all Common Core aligned report cards. So it'll be out of a scale of 1 to 4 for grading, instead of a number like you would have, or I believe they did 1, 2s, and 3s, I believe. I believe they did 1, 2, 3s, and 4s, but what they were measuring were not the standards. They were measuring other things outside of the standards. So that is great. They've established report cards, K4, and that'll roll out. The first one will be in December. So they want to meet together to kind of go over the planning for that. And And then the big piece is reviewing the data for ELA item analysis for grades 3 and 4, as well as through the middle school. But that will be in the afternoon for the elementary school. So all of the staff will be invited to look at the data, look at the item analysis, so how the students did on each standard, where the gaps were, where the strengths were, and then that information will be essential for a turnkey for future professional development, as well as in the middle school. And then we have a grant that you keep hearing me speak about, the Teaching is the Core grant. That grant, we have a team established, a K4 or K-12 representative team that will start their first training on Wednesday. The grant will happen in 3 phases. The first phase will be auditing our entire assessments, K-12. The second phase will be actually learning how to write good assessments and what goes into writing a proper assessment. We together as a team will write an assessment that we will then have to use, and then we will have action planning moving forward with what we're going to do with the steps from the audit. A part of that is also parent communication, so how we're going to set up New York State testing nights with our parents to kind of really inform them of the state testing, opt out, really, have the open platform with our community so that we can really talk about these things so that parents know why these tests happen and the value of them. So there are more things scheduled. There are also more things outside of just these days that are being scheduled. We have the company from Expeditionary Learning for the ELA modules. They are coming 6 times this year to work with coaching our teachers in small, intimate groups. Grades 3 and 4 already had their trainings. We'll have 2 trainings for grades 3 and 4, 2 trainings for 5 and 6, and 2 trainings for 7 and 8. So they will provide coaching around the modules, how to adapt them, how to support them with struggling learners, also how to fit it all in within the schedule.
So Sarah, that's also on the superintendent's conference day?
No, that's
So-
in addition to.
So how does that happen? Do we budget for subs for the teachers to be relieved of their duties? So how often are we doing that throughout the year for professional development? Because I know this board has been very keen on, based on your leadership, really investing in professional development
Absolutely.
for the teachers. And I think we're really seeing, all the way back from the iPads, when we passed them out before anybody knew what was going on, the value of doing the training. So we're doing this throughout the year in addition to the conference days.
Yes, yeah, there are other things as well, yep, and so.
And the teachers are engaged in this process.
Yeah, it's support for them, they're finding the value, it's nothing, they're hearing straight from the company how you can adapt these to fit into a real life schedule.
Do you go to some of these training things, Sarah? Is there good collegiality when the teachers work as groups like that? I would imagine there's a significant value just to getting teachers together
Right, and talk.
when they're not teaching, just to talk about teaching.
Yeah, some teams are stronger than others, of course, but I'm there with the coach. I also invited the literacy specialist from BOCES because she will do the follow-up trainings for us. So I thought it was really important for her to be there at each grade level training so that she knows what the teachers have heard. She knows that expectation, and then she can help support them further. So.
Great.
It's good.
Right.
One challenge we have as a smaller district is that we often have only one teacher teaching, like 7th grade English or something like that. So the challenge for professional development is there really isn't someone else teaching that level. So it's a lot of vertical alignment conversations, which Sarah intentionally sets that up for folks. The other thing that's going on in the background, and I think this would be a report for the future, is all the other conferences and workshops that our teachers go to. Tina's been making a list of those, and so we'll bring that before the board so you get a sense. There's a whole nother level of really continuous professional development, although teachers like to stay in their classrooms, so it's always that balance.
Yeah, I think we've seen the successes of making sure that the teachers have the tools and skills that they need to do that work in the classroom well.
Yeah.
Questions for Sarah?
So we need to hear from Josh and John too.
So for the middle school, we've got quite a bit going on in addition to the superintendent's conference days. Today was our first shared decision-making team. It's something that's been lacking in our building for quite a while. I've got 9 very enthusiastic staff members volunteering their time to meet with us at least once a month. And the consensus today is that they feel we've got a little bit of work on the front to do, and we'll kind of slip that in here and there as much as possible in the coming month.
So you said you had 9 staff members.
9 staff members.
Anybody from the community yet?
Nobody from the community yet. We were gonna talk to how that will work with our PTA, our PTO,
Great,
and
yeah.
figure out how we can bridge that gap and either bring it to them at the PTO meetings that will be, we've got staff members volunteering to come to, we're trying to get 2 per PTO meeting and see what would facilitate that, bringing them on board. Initially, we wanna see where we are with student data. We're not sure if we're gonna have to tease this apart into 2 separate things. There's some student data that we really think would be more effective for us to talk about in-house and not necessarily share out about individual teachers and content areas with the community, and so we're working on that piece. But right now, our primary focus is that we were identified as a lab school again, local assistance plan. We just developed a plan last year, but nothing was implemented. And we had a really nice conversation around that this afternoon, saying that, a large number of our staff weren't aware that we had this lab plan. They don't understand what it includes, and there was no follow through and implementation of those steps. Some of those things include educating the staff, and the other piece is professional development for the staff, both formal of sending staff to the trainings, but at the same time an informal professional development stuff we can do in-house, whether it's a book study or best practices, conversations. We're also looking at how we can roll this out so that over the course of the next couple of months, we break this into pieces that we can implement in the building. All of the focus of improving instruction for our lowest performing students. We're identified as a lab school for special ed, ELA, and math. And so we're getting there in terms of, I think we're gonna have a lot of really good conversations. We may be able to extend this into bringing the community piece into it. I guess this would be more of a principal advisory committee at this time until we get the communities or the parental involvement. We've got.
So okay, all right, so how many so we've been several things in the middle school. I remember back in the Mike Hayden days, we were something, Cine, okay? I'm not sure I exactly knew.
School
in need of
improvement.
Okay. So now we're a lap school.
Lab school, which means we failed to make AYPs, annual yearly progress, with at least one of our cohorts of students, and for us it's in special ed. So we haven't made progress 3 years in a row.
With our special ed students?
Yes. And this current year's identification is based on not the 13-14 data, it's based on the 12-13, the 11-12, and the 10-11. So it goes back 3 years, but it doesn't include this past spring's data. So this past spring, when we start looking at that data, may show that we also, again, didn't make AYP, so we'd be looking at next fall still being a lab school. Our goal is to what can we get in place this coming year so our students do well this spring, which we hope to break the cycle and get us off that.
So you said special ed, you also said ELA and math.
Special ed in the ELA, special ed in math.
Okay.
So in those 2 areas, the only cohort of students, whether it was English second learners or socioeconomic or any ethnic, it was just in the special ed population that we did not.
In ELA and in
math. Yes.
Are they held to the same standards as the other students? You're saying special ed, but the students that don't require, are they held to the same standards, the same grades, and the same
grades,
common
same
core, such?
And we have a very, very low number, so.
We have a very low number of students, so our percentages are fairly high.
Really.
One student is 3-4%.
Yes.
Yes,
That's right.
it's
So,
a nightmare.
so I guess to just put this in perspective, does anybody know what percentage of schools are lab schools throughout New York State?
I wanna say the majority of the middle schools in this region are lab schools for middle school ELA
In special ed?
in special ed.
just don't have the population.
It's a very common problem with special ed middle school students. So, I'm interested in seeing, regional. There is a new CSIS, going to be at BOCES.
CSIS?
A CSIS is, let me see if I get this acronym.
She's the coordinator.
Special Education Special.
It's an administrative body?
Yes.
It's an administrative body.
She
Who
started.
supports special ed specifically for the component schools.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it will be Dione Stroka, who is
Okay.
our currently our fifth grade special ed teacher.
She got the job.
Oh, okay.
So that
Okay.
role will support the component schools.
So that's good, bad, right? You got a friend in high place.
There's,
We have no.
Okay, all right. Anything else, Josh? Or anything else?
Real quick, we do have, just as a little side note, we have this Thursday is our first PBIS celebration. It's going to be a short 10-minute assembly. The whole school will be meeting at about 1:20. It goes to about 1:30, and after that, it's a positive behavior intervention. Thank you.
Supports.
Acronyms.
And sports.
Supports. We're recognizing students for all the hard work they've done, both academically, behaviorally, and in the building. And they're going to have a free afternoon of choice of events that they can attend throughout the building on campus. So it's just rewarding for all their hard work, continuing to look at what it is that they do well and bring it to the front. One of the things that we're looking for from into the coming year is also looking at some sort of academic pep rallies leading up to and celebrating that when we have these assessments coming, like the state test, and the STAR assessments, to start making some.
So then you
knowing
trot out the
value.
kids with the best grades and everybody the band plays?
Oh, it's looking at it as a whole
That'd be
school,
great.
as the whole school, how can we raise our performance? And I
Pep
think I'm
rallies
gonna
for
be on the receiving
academics. Imagine that. Well done, Josh.
end. Thank you.
Love that idea.
And from
You're invited to attend.
And behave, of course, right?
Yes.
I mean, at the end of the day, good people is what matters too. Good? Questions for Josh?
Just a quick one, but you mentioned that they could attend certain events.
Yes.
On what nature would these events be?
They are similar to the ones they had at the end of last year for their PBIS Open Day. They can go down to, there will be pickup basketball games. They have a little bit of free time down around, I think the grass area, the playground. They have some stuff going on up in the art rooms. They also have some activities occurring in the gymnasium. So we have staff members stationed throughout the building, and the campus and the students are, as long as they're being accounted for that hour, they have some free choice into the activities they'd like to participate in. So it's a little bit of that downtime from their academic. And this initial one, my understanding is it's open for everybody, regardless if you, there's no cutoffs for failure to achieve. But there, I guess at the end, near the end of last year when they did one of these PBIS, if you had a number of referrals or did not maintain that caliber of personal standards, the kid wasn't well behaved, that they didn't get to participate in that day, and they had alternative assignments for them. So,
It's better for everybody.
Yes.
so it's a removed, it's not a formal academic hour, and it's just that downtime for the students to be able to pursue something of just being a kid.
Okay, John?
Friday, busy day, data mining, iPad group work, curriculum, there's just tons going on. Personally, I'm gonna be focusing on math, I'll be working with the math department, 7-12. Working on doing some studies of algebra and our algebra data, look at our, do an item analysis of the exam, looking at how things are going with the implementation of algebra modules. So that will be my focus for the day on Friday. I also have a couple of teachers that we're working on. I'm working with Mike and Sarah on forming a committee to explore Project Lead the Way. I've got a group of teachers, a few of us, myself and two others, I believe, that are gonna be going to the Project Lead the Way convention in a couple of weeks to really dig into that program and get a real handle on it. But my focus is having the teachers be the ones that are really doing the exploration of this, because they're the ones that are gonna be implementing it.
What is this thing?
Project Lead the Way is a
Oh, it's STEM
very,
stuff.
It's one of the STEM.
very well-known STEM programs.
Initiatives.
They have programs for high school, they have programs for middle school and elementary school. And what we're doing right now is just learning all about it, but it's the kind of thing that it is extremely successful in the schools where it's been implemented, and it is the most popular one, and the one that's been around the longest is their engineering, pre-engineering program, that works with technology and science departments, math departments. But they also now have a biotech, program. There's also a program that's middle school level that really is a pre-engineering to foster this interest. And then they even have now an elementary school model that we're looking to, we're building a committee
Great.
to really look into this,
Great.
because
This is
it
good.
would be an investment.
Keep us abreast of it,
But
of
it
course.
is
We know it's
absolutely-
eventually gonna cost money,
But
or moving.
But it's bang for your buck kind of thing, because it's the things that our kids would get access to and the potential rewards that they could reap in terms of scholarships and opportunities is pretty limitless.
And
So-
when we have our retreat, are everyone joining us for the retreat? You guys are joining us. So I'd like,
Yes.
when we talk about that data, might be good to also take some time during the retreat for
Absolutely.
keeping us abreast of this stuff. And also maybe some nuts and bolts about this, SAP? Lab, sorry,
Yeah.
not SAP.
Okay, this Project Lead has a really good website where you can actually explore some of their modules.
Yep,
Their
absolutely.
numbers.
So it's a module-based sort of learning program.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And I believe it started in RIT.
Where are you going to this convention?
Yeah.
Indianapolis.
Nice, good restaurants in Indianapolis. Lots of good bar, you can get good Kansas City barbecue. Okay,
My one other thing, if you don't mind, Olivia Colon, our student board member,
yes.
apologized profusely again. Tonight, she's on the varsity volleyball team, and they have a game against Dryden here at home tonight. But she sent me an email and asked me to share just a brief student report with you. Let's see, I just wanted to send a student statement. Starting the second month of school, I believe most students have begun to settle into the swing of things quite nicely. With homecoming this Friday and Spirit Week all week, Student Council and Leadership in Action have been working together to try and muster as much school spirit and pride as they can. I know the seniors are more than excited to make our last homecoming a blast. She's just thrilled about the new facilities and all the events that are going on. And I will say, this homecoming event is gonna be a big to-do, and it has a lot to do with the work of our Student Council, our Leadership in Action kids. It's, Jason Hodge, Joe, and I have kind of been like the yay and
Show 'em where the
nays.
bounds are.
But it really is the work of the kids. They've done a phenomenal job of putting this big festive.
And good for
event
you
together.
for letting them do it,
So,
because a lot of adults take control of that sort of stuff, and good for you letting them do it. Okay, questions for any of the administrators? Joe's got nothing to say. Does he know anything yet? He just got here a few months ago. He sat in the grass class with me for an hour, so he must not have enough to do.
He didn't make a report on that yet.
Yes, that definitely doesn't have enough to do. So Steve Forbes is addressing your conference out there, Forbes meeting. Yeah, Project Lead the Way. Good,
I missed one.
okay, quickly.
Greater Central New York Education and Business Consortium is going to be held October 17th. This is a group of over 100 educators and business people getting together to talk about opportunities for authentic-based learning. Do we have anybody going to that? Were you at all informed? Okay, because we're sort of on the outer edge of central New York in a way, in terms of their publicity. But it'll be ongoing. It's with MACNY, which is Manufacturers Association of Central New York. I'd like to start making some connections there if we can.
Good, great. Something about driver's ed that Michael wants to fill us in on, because Kimberly was away with some health issues in her family. Her dad had issues.
Kimberly's been working with a gentleman kind of came out of nowhere to volunteer to teach in our community-based program, the one that Teresa Sawester is in charge of, yoga, many things like that.
Someone to think of this idea.
And they've worked out the details to the point where they believe they can handle 12 students in the fall, 12 in the spring. And the tuition will be about $260. There will be no high school credit granted for it. So it really is outside of,
But you still get the insurance reduction,
Reduction.
and hopefully they teach you how to be a good driver.
and there will be no cost to the district. They've worked out all the details, so the 260 covers everything, so.
Good.
So this would be after school or?
Yep, after school, outside
Part of the
school,
community ed program.
weekends, yep, whatever it takes, but about 12 students at a time to figure out. So that's what it'll take.
Fantastic.
Okay, that's it? Okay, we have the consent agenda. Any, interest in taking any out?
Okay, please.
K out? Any others? Let me get my thing back here, sorry. My computer decided to be weird. So other than K, I need a motion
So move.
and a second.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, so now we will take up,
The ice cream freezer.
we will take up K, the surplus, okay. All right, I need a motion
So move.
and a second.
Second.
What's the problem, John? Do you want
No
it?
problem, no. This is long been a bane of surplus equipment, is the house appropriately put up, described or whatever. What's accordingly mean? Does this mean it's going in the dumpster, we're gonna put it in an auction, eBay?
That device, I believe, is metal, so it'll be scrapped. But we are getting a dumpster from BOCES, the C&D dumpster, so they'll deliver it, and, there's a couple of pieces of the equipment that were, the refrigerator and some others, we had to.
There's a laminator, a refrigerator, and an ice cream freezer.
Yeah, the laminator is in pieces, so, I don't even, it looks like somebody ran it over, it's bad.
Isn't it used in an office to laminate pieces of paper?
Maybe.
And it looks like it got run over.
It looks like it got run over, it's in pieces.
Okay, John,
Well,
any
just-
further
just-
questions about
No,
this?
I just wanna make sure that you adhere to, we don't get ourselves in trouble for.
Right, the
But you
refrigerator.
mean Joe's not burying it in his backyard? I think that's what he's asking.
It's
There have been
gonna
cases
dispose
where
of.
stuff has ended up in people's homes.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay,
this
well,
is-
that's not
This
good.
is not gonna happen.
Kimberly's not gonna let that happen, even if he offered it, she-
Yeah.
We're following.
especially if we get some money. Cause we'll get, what, tin price for it?
Yeah, for
Scrap,
the,
probably did.
freezer, I don't think there's much to scrap in the refrigerator, we have to dispose of the freezer.
Actually, it costs us too to dispose of it.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay, John, any
I'm ready.
further?
Good.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. Took us that long to throw out a freezer. There we go. Okay, we have a tenure appointment for Kimberly Bell. I need a motion
So moved.
and a second.
Second.
Further discussion about Kimberly.
Other than the fact that she's certified in the position, and certainly an excellent candidate.
Yeah, how long have we had Kimberly?
3 years
This
more.
3 years about right now. I think she actually started about October 25th of 2011.
Excellent. Further discussion? All in favor? Okay, and at the same time, we are retitling her position for her. I need a motion
So moved.
and a second.
Second.
Okay, discussion about creating the Assistant Superintendent for Business Administration. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, and we're there. Abolishment of vacant position, so we'll abolish the position she was in. I need a motion
So move.
and a second.
Second.
Further discussion? All in
Well,
favor?
Could I just,
Yes, I'm sorry, go ahead, Peter.
this, change in position represents no, increase in salary.
It represents no increase in salary.
And it's basically designed.
Well, speaking of
Here
the
she is.
What she's asking to do.
can I switch now?
Okay.
Civil service.
I just want everybody
So
to know
there is
that.
no change, there's no monetary change,
Right.
you said. So back to the abolishment. Further discussion about abolishment? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, Nisbet Douglas, this is, I wonder if we couldn't take them at the same time. D, which is actually, looks like two motions. We need a voting delegate and an alternate. I need a motion
So moved.
and a second.
Second.
Okay, Douglas, can you read both of these things for us?
In case you're sick for the first one?
Because no one else is going, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
either that or we don't
That's
want
it.
to vote.
No, I would rather have to vote than
you want me to just take out the second resolution?
Take out the second one because we're not gonna,
Cause I can't.
we're not sending a delegate, you can't be an alternate for
No, I
yourself.
can't be,
No.
for myself.
Okay, further discussion? All in favor? Aye, opposed? All right, we're there. We've got merger of schools for athletic activity, and this is for a varsity girls hockey player. Any motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion about this?
Is this for
That's
one,
great.
one person?
It is a merger, yes. Ithaca is allowing us to merge our hockey team with them.
Excellent.
The wall.
We'll do
And
better.
And just so that you know,
Person.
just so that you know,
We've
you know,
done it.
we've
Yes.
had the athletic issues continue occasionally to create issues, and some of it is fundamentally around this principle. We don't get any help from the New York State Public High School Athletic Association all the time for the kind of help we want. I think many of us view sports in our community as participatory. We really want our kids to participate in sports, and I think that listen, everybody likes to win. I like to win. It's nice to watch my kid win. But participation seems to be in many ways for us more important than competition. However, a lot of these New York State Public High School Athletic Association rules are set up around competition, not to facilitate participation. They're protecting the field for competition. This is a situation where we're merging, which means Ithaca assumes our student body population. Because they're already big, this doesn't necessarily impact them. When you merge with a smaller school and your bodies come together, sometimes you have to play up in a class or
Yeah.
football or something like that. So I just want to make that clear, the difference between what a merger actually means. Further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay, acceptance of a donation for $1,160 from Coughlin and Gerhart to support the Trumansburg Central School District Scholarship Funds. All in favor? I'm sorry, need a motion
So,
and a second?
Second.
Discussion?
Great job.
Thanks very much.
That's
Way to
a
go,
golf
Gary.
team. It's a golf team.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah.
So we actually won this?
No, we came in
Albert
fourth.
made him, hey,
Yeah.
that's
But he got.
So we were
competitive.
Great liberal.
not bad.
Who was on this team?
So it was Gary, myself, Rob Rakes, and Jason Hodge.
How about that? Well done, fellas.
All right.
Very good. All in favor? Aye, opposed? Okay, we're there. We have another donation from, $25 from Target to the middle school for supplies, technology, and field strips. Motion?
So moved.
Second? Discussion?
Spend it all on that.
Boy, Target wants it all accounted for, don't they? They do. Oh, that's right. Okay. Just don't give them any credit card numbers. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Executive session. We have one more executive session we have to have, so I'll need a motion, for that.
Move to adjourn.
Thanks
To the
very much.
executive session.
Yes. So we'll be back. Will we be back?
Wow. Yes, we
Or we can adjourn the meeting and then go to executive session. Hold on, please.
No, you'll have to come back and
yes,
reconvene.
we have to.
We'll be back.
Okay,
with-
very good.
Everybody else has to go.
We won't have any more.